Hey gang, it's Pastor Roland Moss, that old history guy, with another weird news and wacky history. A look behind the scenes throughout the years. Christmas still has the ability to delight us, as we'll discover today in Christmas Surprises. December of 1943 found many young men and women far from home for a second Christmas. So Chaplain Everett P. Woobens of the battleship North Carolina decided to surprise his boys and their families back home. He asked the guys with children and young siblings to give him $5 for a very special project. The men willingly chipped in. The ship was built in the Brooklyn Naval Yard and crewed from the Big Apple, so there was a special connection between the crew and New York City. Chappie sent $2,404.25 and a list of addresses to Macy's department store, asking them to purchase and deliver gifts appropriate to the 729 sons, daughters, kid brothers, and sisters back home. The annual shipboard Christmas Eve show proved to be a real extravaganza. The ship's band played the latest songs, and there were skits, dancing, comedy, and even an all-male striptease. Then Chappie stepped to the podium to reveal his surprise. When Macy's received his request, they decided to do Chappie one better. Macy's invited all the families to come to the store to film brief Merry Christmases, "We're praying, bud," and "We love yous." I don't believe there was many dry eyes that night, remembered crew member Bill Taylor. Well done, Macy's. And how about giving that perfect gift? Harper Lee was an aspiring writer in 1966, but with the constraints of working full-time as a ticket agent for the British Overseas Airway Corporation, the chances to write were few and far between. Then came Christmas. New York friends Michael and Joy Brown were painfully aware of Harper's lack of writing time. Michael was a highly successful writer himself, creating industrial jingles like "The Wonderful World of Chemistry" to inspire workers in the corporate world. So the Browns decided to give Harper the best Christmas gift ever. There was an envelope on the tree, addressed to me, remembers Harper of that wondrous morning. I opened it and read, "You have 1 year off from your job to write whatever you please. Merry Christmas." A call to the Browns confirmed the gift. They assured me that it was not some sort of a joke. They had a good year, they said. They'd saved some money and thought it was high time they did something about me. So what did Harper Lee do with her year? She wrote To Kill a Mockingbird, which became an instant classic and won the Pulitzer Prize. Translated into some 40 languages in 30 million copies, it's still required reading in many schools. There's even a signed copy available online for just $1,995. I'd say that was a Christmas gift well spent. Here's a Christmas surprise of a different sort. Irving Berlin was a master songsmith. In his 101 years of life, he wrote some 1,500 songs, including the scores for 20 Broadway shows and 15 Hollywood movies. Some, like God Bless America and There's No Business Like Show Business, are still epic blockbusters. But the biggest of them all is White Christmas. But why does that one Christmas song seem so sad in a season of holiday cheer and goodwill? Why does it almost make you want to cry? First, White Christmas borders on being a blues song. In a season that for many is filled with sadness, it honestly looks at some of that heartache. Berlin hints at that sadness by referring to Christmases just like the ones I used to know. Born Israel Balin to impoverished Jewish parents in 1888 in Imperial Russia, most likely in Siberia, his innocent words about Christmas cards and children listening were about things he'd never experienced until coming to America. But Christmas was never a day of joy for Irving Berlin. On Christmas Day of 1928, his 3-week-old son Irving Jr. died of sudden infant death syndrome. Every Christmas Day afterwards, while others happily unwrapped presents, the Berlins visited their son's grave. No wonder White Christmas is so melancholy. And let's end with a surprising Christmas tradition. Christmas boasts a dizzying collection of traditions, both old and new, that make the season so special. But one of the odder annual observations of the Yuletide is a Christmas horse's stroll through the Fox Inn in the tiny Sussex village of Bucks Green. Britain is crisscrossed with footpaths and bridleways that guarantee passage for travelers. Ramblers, as the Brits call hikers, are fiercely protective of their right to traverse these thoroughfares. Right through the middle of the Fox Inn runs an ancient brick bridle path. Sometime in the 16th century, someone in their infinite wisdom decided to build a pub right across the right-of-way. So the story goes, bearing in mind that English common law can get a bit convoluted at times, a bridle path must be used at least once a year to maintain its status as a thoroughfare. Which brings us to Blue, the Christmas horse. Every Christmas Day, Blue is led into the Fox Inn, packed for the occasion with locals and tourists before dinner. After enjoying a hefty serving of potato crisps and a large bowl of the pub's best ale, Blue ambles out, ensuring the viability of the age-old pathway for yet another year. And a very merry, horsey Christmas to you. And that's about all the time we have for this edition of Weird News and Wacky History, a look at what's been going on behind the scenes throughout the years. I'm Pastor Roland Moss, your host, wishing that all your history may be just a bit weird.